Hey guys, thank you for coming by the channel today. I'm gonna try to make this quick. My kids are on the way home, and so I'm trying to get this in before they come crashing into the office here. We are less than a week away from MechaBREAK. I'm obviously very excited. You guys know that I've been waiting for this for a long time. My community is excited. I do know that there are a lot of people who are anxious to get into the game, but they're maybe a little overwhelmed, anxious. So there have been a lot of questions, and I'm trying to go over those questions today, the ones I've been hearing the most. If I did miss your question, I apologize. Slide into my DMs, swing by the Twitch channel, drop something in the comments. I will do my best to get to them. But yeah, I'm not going to waste more time here. Just the biggest question right off the bat is monetization. How is that going to work? What am I paying for? The game is free to play. I cannot stress that enough. It is free to play. You do not have an excuse to not download and at least try. If you are on Steam or Xbox. It is also deck compatible, and it is coming to PS later on this year. We don't have an exact date. But yes, you guys can hop in, give it a shot. If it's not for you, it's not for you, but I definitely recommend giving it an honest shot. There will be a battle pass. There will be in-game currency that goes mainly towards cosmetics and customization. It is not going to be pay to win. From CEO Chris Kwok's words, it will not be pay to win. They want this to be as consumer friendly and as approachable as possible. The other question is, if I'm logging in for the first time, what should I be expecting? So when you do log in, there is a tutorial. It is skippable, but it is recommended. It is an intro mission, a couple of PvP matches. It's just enough to kind of get you, comfortable, let you live in the space for a little bit. If you do skip it, you can always go back and check it out. And then there are also individual tutorials for strikers, which you don't need to do those. Those aren't mandatory, worth checking out. I will circle back to that in a little bit here. And there's also the character customization. So you can preset a couple of different profiles. If you want a masculine character, you want a feminine character, you can switch back and forth. So there will be, higher end cosmetics. That's where kind of the in-game currency and, paying for things that comes into play. There's also a couple other aspects too, but that's basically how the game starts off. And the game modes that are available are a 6v6 quick play. There is a 3v3 slightly more competitive PvP mode, and then there is the PvE PvP mode, which is essentially an extraction shooter. It's definitely a lot more exploratory, so there is a little bit of something for everyone. There are also custom matches, and then there are, I mentioned the striker tutorials earlier. There's actually challenges that if you find one you really like, you can chase. They are difficult. They are a dopamine hit. It's the equivalent of taking down a Souls boss. You will spend hours and hours trying to chip away at the last couple challenges, and when you do, you're jumping. You're pretty excited about it. You do get titles for that. As far as anything else that comes with it, there might be cosmetics. We don't know yet for sure. Some of it we still have to discover, but there are for sure titles, and they mean a lot. You see somebody that's wearing the Sky Raider title, stay the hell away from them on the battlefield. They earn that shit. So yes, that's what happens when you're first logging in. So yeah, you can hop right in with friends if you want to. Basically, that's where that came down to. That was kind of hard to sell to people. Like, I don't want to spend a half an hour playing this game before I can actually hang out with anyone. If you switch servers to that, you had to do the tutorial again. So that's all over and done with. Hop in, raw dog it, you're good to go. Going to the customization itself, this is also kind of covers some of the things that I think people were really overwhelmed by. So there's the character, there's the striker, there's your social space. The social space, that's going to be its own game mode, basically, for the customization you can do. I mean, with all three of those. But there's also the HUD. Every single little detail of the HUD you can customize. And I know that has been really daunting to people, just looking at that, because there's so much information going on. I tweaked mine just a little bit. After living in it for a little bit, I got comfortable with it. And there was only a couple little visibility things I can change. But there's so many of the details you can make just to really make sure that it is yours and you are comfortable. Back to the customization itself, though, the hanger, that was one of the biggest things that we during the beta. It was fun, it was cool exploring, but there wasn't much to do. But that is officially now a social space where you can invite your friends. So you have a gym, you have a bar, you have an actual hangar where you can go and explore your mech up to everything besides jumping into the cockpit of it. And we are getting jetpacks to add to the exploration at some point. That is confirmed. We don't know when, but it just adds another level to what you can do to really make this game yours. The immersion is the number one goal for the devs on this. It's just making sure you feel like you are a pilot in this world. Next question I'm getting a lot is strikers. What do I use? Because there are 12 strikers available right off the bat, and then 3 you can unlock. With games like this, you always have concerns that there's going to be a meta striker or something that's completely busted. I can safely say that there really isn't one striker that is a head above the rest. Everything has its counter. Everything has its strengths and weaknesses. You definitely have a loose team composition like you would for most hero shooters, where you have, aggressors, defenders, you have your supports. But even, the brawling units are also vastly different. The huge big boy units, they all do something a little bit different. Their kits are very, very much just made for them individually. So everyone kind of has their own identity, and they really want to lean into that. They don't want it to get muddied up. So my personal opinion, find whatever one looks the coolest. Honestly, just get in there, experiment, try it. There really isn't a wrong one. There's some, I use Falcon. I think that flying around, that's one of the aerial units. That's the best way to experience this game. That is really what makes me feel like I'm piloting a mech in this. But I like to turn it off every now and then, and I'll hop on one of the big boys that just likes to blow shit up and, plant himself down next to the objective. And, it's good to have a couple in your repertoire, but just play with whatever. There's no rules. Experiment. Have fun with it. With that too, I mentioned there's the testing mode and the mastery. That is just a great way to really learn them. They explain everything pretty well in there. You can also customize those modes really well. So if you want to fight against a certain, like there's one striker that's just kicking your ass over and over. If you want to run a simulation against them, you can kind of experiment a little bit. The biggest one and really the hardest one to articulate is what is the chase for this game? Like, what's the high? What's the hook? We mentioned the in-game cosmetics. We mentioned some of the currency. There is rank. There are leaderboards associated with the PvP. So, there's people that are definitely going to be chasing that. I understand that's not for everyone. In the PvE, PvP mode, there is different equipment, mods, things like that you can chase, and there's a little bit of build crafting you can do. So for that side of it, you can spend hours and hours in doing that. And the customization, the stuff you can unlock, the stuff you can do, you can actually sell your custom models of your characters, not your strikers, your characters. You can auction them off. You have a set preset. You make money in game actually off of doing that. So that's really going to be in its own game mode, but you find yourself getting lost into it. But really it definitely is very near and dear to us mech enthusiasts. It's 12-year-old me that was getting off the bus, running upstairs, firing up Toonami to watch G Gundam Zoids. This is the game I have been waiting for. It's the battles, the immersion, like the cinematics and action. It is everything I have ever wanted. So it really is one of these things that you can't explain it until you are in it and you have just that first moment of high intensity matches where it comes down to the wire, especially if you're playing with friends. I mean, you get lost in this game. It is a rush. It is a high, and it is not nearly as intense as it looks. There's some of these strikers you can get by with button mashing, honestly, and you still get that high. But again, you have to get in there. You have to try it. It's sort of on you to discover that feeling a little bit. And I really wish, I know I'm not the only person within the community that's talked about it, but it's hard to put that into words. Just get in there and do it. You obviously see how excited I am. I want you all to get excited about this game too. And I know that everybody is capable of doing it unless you just flat out, this just is not for you. But I promise you it is worth giving a shot. With that too, good transition into the community itself. We are trying to build a wholesome community. There's definitely a competitive side for this and there's room for it. Great people over there too, but they definitely take it a little bit more seriously than I think some of us do. I mean, it's I want to win, but we're here to chill. We're here to have fun. I know that the mech genre, it's very niche, and from the outside looking in, it looks like we're speaking a different language sometimes, but it's just because we're nerds, we're passionate about it, but that doesn't mean we want to be getting more people in to just play it, just experience it. I know my channel, we're definitely going to be making it a point to have community nights where you can come try it for the first time, ask questions. It's a very chill crew. If you're new to the channel, it's a bunch of dad gamers. We're chill. It's a very inclusive community. All are welcome. We just ask people don't be assholes, but please don't be a stranger coming by the channel. Those are the main questions that I've been going over, and I hope that kind of gets people a little bit more comfortable with jumping into this for the first time. We will be going live next Tuesday at 11 p.m. Central. It's very late, but that is when it launches. I got to be there to, for the maiden voyage of this, and then we will be off and on throughout the week. But this is probably going to be something that's in the weekly rotation, once or twice a week, I would say. The last thing too is this game is very non-committal. If you want to come and play for 2 days and not worry about anything else because of everything else that's coming out, you can pick this back up in a month. Might take you a little bit to shake the rust off, but you definitely don't need to commit hours and hours of your life to it. I will be, but that's my own problem. Yes, so feel free to come by the channel. If it's not at launch, then throughout the whole next week, we'll be live as much as we can. Yeah, guys, drop a follow on the socials if you want more information. Ask questions in the comments here. Please hit the subscribe button. It means a lot. We're really trying to grow this channel over here. Otherwise, swing by Twitch, Twitter, Blue Sky. That's where we're the most active. Then we open up the Discord. It's not necessarily the community one, but you know, it is open to everybody. So swing by, say hello. If I don't hear from you guys, take care of yourselves. Be well. Make good choices. We will see you next Tuesday night. Bye, guys.